Hi guys, Wendy here with Artfully Created. I don't know if you had a chance to see my first vlog that I posted, but I kind of talked about where I came from as an artist and some of the health issues that I had gone through that led me to where I am today. And I've been thinking about this, and I know I don't know if it was that video or a previous video, I talked about that I came from a background of making jewelry. And so I thought it's been a couple years since I've made anything, and I initially made it just as a healing thing to try to heal from the illnesses that I was going through. And then I had a couple people say, you should start selling your jewelry, which I did in '07 when I opened my Etsy store. And the longer I was on Etsy, it just became harder and harder until they went public and they started allowing Chinese retailers to sell their stuff, and I just could not make it as an artist on Etsy anymore. My true love is in jewelry design, and so today I thought I would show you where I started. It was seed beads, and I got into seed beads actually by mistake because I was quilting with my mom, and it was near Halloween and I was making a Halloween quilt, and I thought, it really needed some sparkle and shimmer because I was making these ghosts, and I wanted something. It was a very dark quilt, mostly black fabrics except for the ghosts, and I wanted some beads. And I was living in Newbury Park, California, which is a suburb of Thousand Oaks, and Newbury Park had this awesome bead store called Creative Castle. The first time I walked in, I didn't know what to make of things. I got overwhelmed, so I walked out. Still didn't get what I needed, so on another day I walked in and someone came up to me and asked me if I needed help, and I said yes. So they helped me pick out some beads and then introduced me to their classes that they taught, and I signed up for a class. Had no idea it would become my passion and obsession at the same time, and it's evolved over the years. And the first class that I ever took was a seed bead class. Now I don't know if you are familiar with seed bead, but they're tiny little beads that you string them together in a pattern to make objects out of. And although the first class was just a practice and you didn't really make anything out of it, and you took a couple of classes after that helped you with different techniques, and the peyote stitch, which is one of the easiest stitches you can learn, although this is one of my very early pieces that I made in peyote. And let's see, this might be even count. I don't think I ever really quite got the grasp of odd count, so most of my things are even count. And so I started making all these beads, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to make beads with dingly danglies? It was a time when dangles was popular in jewelry, and so I made all these little funky rings that have little dingles and dangles, and it's just evolved. And I sold a bunch of these thin band rings on Etsy and locally. Let's see. And I thought they were fun, and my customers just thought, this is very neat, and it feels, especially if you wash your hands and you let the water just stay in there. In a summer day, you can kind of sprinkle your face with water. And then one of the advanced classes was from a teacher who was making these really awesome sunflower rings with all these interesting dangles, and so I took this class. Now she has a wide band. Let's see if I can get it in the camera. Okay, I'm not doing this very well. And she made a wide band, and it was okay. And I always thought, well, I could make it better. And so I played around, although I do like her original concept of the sunflower, because sunflowers are my favorite flower. So I created this ring, which actually has this, which has the flat band, but I did these with just the regular seed beads, so they're not even aligned properly, because you have to do this thing called culling the beads, where you're looking for the same shape, size beads, and that was always too hard for me to figure out which beads are the same size, so my band got all wonky. But this was very similar, but a different, you know, this type of sunflower. And then I made this sunflower. It was all monochromatic, but the center I did a fun swirl design, and it still had the flat band. But what I did, which is a surprise, I added either a nickel or a penny in which to work as a base from. And this is also, I made then this purple ring with a fun little swirl design in the center and another flat band. And then I decided, you know, I need to try to make a different band, because I really wanted a different band. And so then I created this round band that fits more like a regular ring, you know, and it is the most comfortable ring I have ever worn. Now, you would think these might get in the way and, you know, annoy you, but I never found that to be an issue. And I wore this for many years around when I went out and stuff, and women grabbing my hand, wanting to see. So this was, you know, still the one class sunflower, but I did change the band, so I have taken that as mine. And then I made this one with a rosette, and this was one of my favorite rings. Can you see the rosette? And little leaves. And I was never able to duplicate that again. So that was my rings, and I made a lot of these peyote style bracelets, and this is one. I've sold a lot of them, and this is one that was still in my inventory that I never sold. And then this one always got a lot of reviews because I called it, this one, Fiesta Señorita, and I had seen some of the Hispanic blankets, and this was my you know, take on those Hispanic blankets that I just thought were so awesome. And this one got a lot of views on Etsy, but no one seemed to want to actually buy it. And then I made this Halloween one. And that's one thing with peyote, you can do words and designs. And this was one of my favorites that I ever made. And I did variegated ones that sold. And then during I was trying to get more gold jewelry because I'm typically a silver wearer. So I made this out of, these were using the Delica beads, and they're pretty consistent in size. And then I use Swarovski crystals. They're pearl crystals, which are glass. And I had a lot of compliments on this bracelet. And that inspired me to make this, which is 22 karat gold. And this is my va va voom. I think this was the most expensive bracelet because it was 22 karat and 24 karat gold. You know, it cost me $150 to make, so I was trying to sell it for $300. And this is one that I really want to have in a boutique. And then here's one I made for my love of sunflowers. I just put it on a bracelet. And I just love this delica that I used. I got in Arizona for my trip to Sedona. That was one of my inspirations. And then while in Arizona, we went to a lot of bead stores, and I just picked up a ton of turquoise. And these are genuine turquoise. And I don't remember the mine they came from. I know I love Kingman turquoise and Sleeping Beauty turquoise, and I'm not sure if this is Kingman turquoise. Sleeping Beauty is like this, robin's egg blue, and doesn't have a lot of demarcations in the stone, but this is just a glass piece, so that's not a turquoise. But what happened with this bracelet, the turquoise was too heavy, and so my bracelet broke. Some of the beads started popping off, which is something that I would have to repair, but I haven't actually done that. And then I made this one, and this is one of my favorites. I used some vintage buttons, metal buttons, and again my gold theme here with purples and greens. And then I also made this one, another striped one with delicas, turquoise and coppers, and another inspiration from going to Arizona. And as I started on my spiritual quest, I made this one. And this is just a variegated green, so it has multi-colors. And then on top, Swarovski came out with a new crystal called cantaloupe. And when you take this cantaloupe crystal out into the sun, it changes colors. And it will turn a shade of green. And it's like the most gorgeous crystal. It almost has this pinkish purple hue to it right now. And this is one I called Spiritual Awareness. And this is one of my favorite ones. And also, this was a class I took, a local class from Liz Smith. And this was a necklace she called Shiraz. I think Shiraz. And I don't know the meaning anymore. But this is also a peyote stitch, but this is using triangle beads. And they just sparkle when they hit the light. And this is one, has a button clasp, and the fringe are really small pearls and Swarovski crystals, but it's really pretty on the neckline. If I can get it in there. And some stick pearls. I don't remember what they're called. Very pretty. And so that's where I started when I started making jewelry, and I started designing some, and I've got notes galore that I eventually one day want to rewrite and start selling my patterns. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you like what you saw, let me know which one you like in the comments. And unfortunately, I don't think I will be selling custom pieces because I could never get what I wanted. You know, this ring, if I was to make a ring for someone, I'd want at least $100, and I know that's a lot of money, but this is a very time consuming, you know, task to string all these beads and to make all these little dangles. So this is just what I have in my inventory or my personal collection, because what I couldn't sell, you know, I decided just to put in my personal jewelry collection. And I do wear these on occasion. This one and these two, or these four, I still have in my sale bin. These have never been worn. So if you are interested in any of these, please let me know and we could negotiate. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what design you like the best. And I hope I will be coming, I will be doing several more videos just to showcase some of my jewelry. And hope you enjoyed that. Let me know. Thanks. Bye-bye.